I think we've earned a vacation.
Did we just take a vacation?
Yeah, why not another? I
I
mean,
know. It's so
it's
hard. When I take a couple of days off, like I just can't. Like getting wound back up for work
hmm
is it's hard.
well, it really throws me off too that we're doing this for the first time on a Thursday because now it feels like a Monday, but it's really not. It's a
Thank
Thursday.
God. I know.
Yeah.
I
So,
know.
how you been? Looks like Germany was some fun. You didn't get in any fisticuffs, so you're back.
Yep. Germany was good. Yeah. It was like yeah, it was kind of like what you did, really. I mean,
hmm
road trip. I didn't drive as long as you did. Although the trip home for somehow I turned a 4 hour drive into a 6.5 hour slog. But
Congrats.
yeah, we like took a side trip to let's detour to
hmm
eat lunch, and then it took longer than that. Anyway, it was fine. It was
Well,
fine.
good. Good.
How was your little trip?
It was really good actually. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
completely sort of. I mean, like completely off the grid because the cabin we
Hmm.
were in like didn't get Verizon did not work there. So like if we wanted to connect to the internet, it wasn't even an option.
Oh wow.
It was a little warm, but not. I don't think it was as warm as you were experiencing. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the time we went on our trip, the heat had died down. But
mm.
yeah, it was pretty. It was it was over 100 degrees like 2 days in a row.
yeah, see, it does definitely was like when I said it was a little warm, it was like
Yeah.
80, 85, so like
Hmm.
28, something like that
Yeah.
Celsius,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that, whatever. So it wasn't bad. It was good. It was nice.
Yeah. I feel like I've been gone forever. Like
You have
I've
been gone for. I
lost
mean, you've been
2 weeks
gone.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. When do you come back?
A week from today.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe
Hmm.
that's been 3 weeks already.
I know. I can't even. I don't know. I said something. We were driving home, and I said, "Man, I can't wait to get back to our house." And Stephanie said, "You mean our house in Pennsylvania?" I'm like, "No, not that one. The other one, the one we're staying in here."
Our current estate.
Yeah.
Current estate. Well, some big things have happened since we've been gone.
Hmm.
Um, well, you can't really see it here. I was going to point to it, but Windows 10 is going to get a new cloud download install feature. This was only kind of needed since about Windows 7, but it's finally here. So if you're looking to reinstall Windows, you'll soon be able to just download it directly from the mothership.
Yeah. So I haven't looked into this yet, but I think Mehedi might have pointed out that this is similar to the feature that Apple's had in Mac OS
Mm-hmm.
and Mac OS 10, for a long time. I have taken advantage of that. It works pretty well. Actually, Brad, you have some computers that have this capability already,
Yep.
unless they're doing it differently, because Surface computers can do this.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a recovery media with a Surface PC, you can boot into the recovery environment and you can choose a cloud-based restore. Um, and I think it's only Surface devices. So what I assume this, I haven't looked at it yet. I've just been too busy, but I assume what this is that feature, but for all Windows 10 users.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to change my background image here, and as always, it never just
Miracast, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
well, the other thing too, which I always forget, is that when you disconnect it from the PC, which is somewhat nice, I will admit, it
Hmm.
shuts the TV off. But because I have to disconnect and reconnect to change the image, because why would I?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it always turns off, and then usually I try to do it while you're talking, but
Sorry.
it's only because I'm annoyed that I'm doing this. You'll see why in a second if it connects. Here we go.
You ready?
You ready?
Hmm. You get a throw. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
there it is.
Yep. So Intel announced their 11th gen Ice Lake chips here. We got the Y series and the U series, and we've got some stuff up on Thurrott, which whatever. You can go read that. I hate this image. With
Yeah,
wait, like what is this? What
I
why
know.
would they need to put Intel Iris Plus graphics in the middle of a chart here? And
Up
then
text. Yeah,
like it an
I know.
engineer lost the battle here to marketing, and they died inside when they said this is going to market because no one Intel nobody cares about Iris Plus graphics. Nobody, no, nobody.
I couldn't agree more. I thought that was weird. Yeah. The whole thing is just a little weird.
I mean, I'm not dumping on them launching new chips. It's specifically putting this graphic in the middle of a text-based chart,
Yeah.
and you ruin the design, you ruin everything Intel, just like always,
Now I have to look at this too a little more in depth. The 15 watt stuff at the top is the standard. That's what the U series has been for a while. It looks like the Y series chips are 9 watts, and I could be wrong, but I thought they were 7 watts last time around. And maybe that suggests they're going to be a little more powerful. I got to go look this up, but I think the MacBook Air, the original version from last year, had a kind of a tweaked version of a Y series chip that was a little higher in normal wattage. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but that's kind of interesting.
Google it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Does this say what it is? Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Doing things off the top of my head is never the smartest thing in the world.
No, it's. I actually tried to remove the top of my head about 3 days ago. I was at my brother's house and they're having construction, and they built up the floor going into their garage by no joke, like 6 inches, and they're gonna have to raise the door frame to accommodate for it. And I didn't realize the door frame was not accommodating for it, and I hit it just tried to remove the door frame with my skull. Not advised. Not advised.
Yeah. I'm actually lucky I didn't lose my head in that castle thing. There was apparently people were about 1.5 feet shorter than I am back in the 1200s or whenever this was.
1200s.
Which is pretty damn old, but
yeah, it is old.
Could have been the 1000s. I don't know. It was really old, but they had really jaggedy, the 1000s.
1000s.
As opposed to the 1100s, right? Then
yeah, but that's people just say the 1000.
Yeah, well, just trying to keep it consistent. Anyway, the point is, it was short, jaggedy rock.
Yeah, helpful.
I literally walked around like this because I knew I was going to bat my head right into this thing.
If we seem a little off today, it's because both Paul and I have whacked our skulls and
have driven long distances
recently.
Just tiring.
The other kind of big thing that happened in the past couple of days, and I think this is pretty significant, is that Apple's revenue came out and they actually beat estimates, which was somewhat surprising because a lot of people thought they were, flatlining. Whatever. That aside, is that iPhone revenue is not making up more than 50% of their overall revenue now. Their other services have actually grown to the point that, yeah.
I mean, is that a good news, bad news thing? It's obviously they want to be more diversified, but this is another thing I just haven't looked at in great detail. Depending on the headline you read, the Apple stuff was either surprisingly positive or really bad news, And I guess I think the way I would look at this is to examine the iPhone.
That's
the
what's
iPhone,
hitting Japan right now is iPhone
exactly.
Cletus or something.
Yeah. Oh boy.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I can recover from this. So
Daniel,
I would look at the iPhone revenues and compare them to the past several quarters, going back to the last time they actually provided a unit shipment number.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get a rough idea of where maybe the unit sales were, right? And just to see what that kind of looks like, because I suspect that the average selling price of the iPhone hasn't changed too much since the last time they, provided unit sale number. So you could kind of get a rough estimate, maybe. That'd be the first thing, just to see where that stands. The other thing I haven't done is, I'll just tell you all the things I haven't done because I was so busy and tired or busy, whatever. But the other thing I think it might be interesting to compare to is Samsung also announced their earnings, and Huawei did. And Huawei is a private held company, so they don't provide as many details. But we do have quarterly. I think it's quarterly shipments in China only, and then half-year shipments for all of the world. And so you could kind of do some, and maybe I will write something like this up. I every time I write an Apple editorial, I worry that people think I'm just kind of piling on the company, but I'm not. So everything I just said right there is where my head's at. The outcome is whatever it is. My point isn't this will be bad news for Apple. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
It could be very good news.
Yeah,
that's how I would approach it.
They cited that wearables and iPads were stronger, and that helped boost the overall revenue. Okay. I want to say their services revenue was around $11 billion, which is, I mean, that's not inconsequential. I mean, that's a substantial
Yeah.
number.
What were
So
the iPhone revenues? Like 50-ish?
no. iPhone revenues, overall revenue, I think was around 53 billion, and
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
iPhone revenue was less than 50%. It was something like 24 or something like that or whatever.
Okay. So right. So if it 11 billion compared to 20 something
Mhm.
is significant.
Yeah.
Now, I still, the little asterisk there for me is Apple services revenues don't exist unless there is an iPhone. So
Right.
you kind of have to view that in that light.
Yeah, and there's definitely an upper bound on how many people are going to
Mhm.
subscribe to all that stuff. Like for me personally, I will dump Apple Music the minute that Spotify is available on LTE on the Apple Watch. Like I only
Yeah.
pay for
It's
it
crazy
because of
that it
that.
isn't. It's crazy
Well,
that that's not there.
it's not supported. That's why.
Not supported by
Apple.
whom? Really?
It's they
I mean,
do that dumb thing where they let their own services use it first, and then so it will be supported with Watch OS 6 or whatever the one that's coming out this fall.
okay. They are adding it. I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it
All
is
right.
coming, but for the
Gotcha.
past year, you've only been
Yep.
able to use Apple Music, streaming LTE on the watch.
Maybe
So
there's an antitrust regulatory body somewhere that could take a look at this.
you could make it the same argument too with Apple Pay. Remember, they limited the NFC chip inside the iPhone exclusively to Apple. Was it Apple Pay for
Yeah.
like a year at least until they said, "Oh, we need to make sure it's secure," which I don't buy that argument at all.
Where's
'Cause they went,
David Bowitz?
yeah, they went out
It's
and
just like
launched Apple Pay if it was not secure.
classic Microsoft strategy. It's good stuff.
It really, really is. It really is. Games with Gold has come out. There's some new Gears Xbox controllers. HoloLens 1 will no longer get Windows 10 feature updates.
Yeah. For whatever that's worth, I said this on Windows Weekly, but I'll just repeat it here. I think Microsoft did a tremendous job supporting the original HoloLens with feature updates. And I would, for the first couple of years, I mean, it was rather impressive how many there were. I saw some people complaining about this online. There is no such thing as a version of Windows 10 that has been supported for 4 years. I mean, in that fashion. I mean, I think that's pretty. I think it's good news. I think it's good what they've done. I should
Well,
say.
I think you could also make the argument too. The people who are actually using HoloLens, they don't care about the feature updates at all. They're using for more than likely one very specific thing.
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
fixing elevators, as Microsoft always shows, or looking at AutoCAD drawings. They don't care about Paint 3D support in HoloLens. They really, really don't. So.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, the only other question, which I don't know if you'll know, but maybe a reader will. So, is there a way with Microsoft Word? So, I have the Microsoft Word icon pinned to my taskbar, pinned down there.
Yep.
When you click it, it always opens up the screen that says, like, do you want a blank document, open an existing file? How do I make it so that when I click that icon, it only opens a blank document?
Oh, I can answer that question, Brad.
Fantastic. How do I do it?
Do you have Microsoft Word open?
I might be able to here in this one. I don't know if I have it installed on this PC. Yes, I do.
Because I configure it this way myself. That drives me crazy.
Yes, I cannot. Okay, it is open.
All right. So go to File and then Options.
Hold on. Where I don't. Oh, I guess I got to open a document. Maybe. All right. File.
Yep. Options.
Options.
And
Go
then
down at the
in that-
bottom.
Yep. Scroll down to the bottom of that front screen, and under Startup Options, it says Show the Start screen when this application starts.
Wow.
Unclick that, and you're good to go.
Wham, bam. This has been the most productive podcast we have ever done. Yeah, that's it. Bam.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. It's silly me thinking it was actually an option on that splash screen that I could not find.
Right. Right. Why wouldn't it be a little checkbox somewhere? Yeah.
Every other app says show the
Mhm.
screen or show the default view. There we go.
Yep.
There we go. All right. You got anything else for today, Paul?
Just one more thing. I'm doing my little daily look at the weird old software that Stephen Bank has in his house. This is Windows NT 4.0
Wow.
workstation. This one's a promotional copy. I'm not sure where he got that exactly, but it includes Microsoft Internet Explorer.
Whoa.
It also says Windows 95 interface, Windows NT Power, which is hilarious. I distinctly remember, in fact, I think I wrote about this in one of my Programming Windows articles, but the day that this came out, I went to a pool party at one of my wife's coworkers' houses, and somebody threw me in the pool with all my clothes on.
Oh, fantastic.
So after I got out of the pool, we hung out for a little while, and then we drove to Software Etc. or Electronic Boutique. I don't remember which one,
Mhm.
but these were software stores back in the day. And I, I walked through the store to go to the back to buy this, which like I said, it was July something, 1996, whatever. And I walked through, every step I took was like squish, 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 because I was like literally soaking wet, and I was leaving like wet footprints on the carpet. And I remember this the store employee like kind of like looked down as I walked by, and he never said anything, but it was just the weirdest thing I had. But I'm like, I have to buy this. I had written a book about it, and I only had like pre-release version still, so I wanted to make sure everything was up to date. So yeah, there's my little NT story. Certificate of authenticity. Huh?
Well, I forgot about those things.
Yeah. Oh, these were the days, Brad.
Yep.
These were the days.
Back when software came in a box and you didn't have to download updates right away.
I was doing Delphi stuff back then, and the thing I really remember about NT4 was if I installed Delphi and used it under NT, I couldn't crash the operating system. But under Windows 90, whatever, probably 95, I guess I was using, I would crash that thing all the time.
Yeah.
This was so stable compared to 95. It was just really eye-opening.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that was Dave Cutler. Is that right? That's when he. Yep. Around that time.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, everybody. Well, we are back-ish for another episode. Hope you had. Wow.
Yep. We'll get there.
With the iPhone
and then I'll
hitting
fly home next week, and we won't be there again. It will be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good. It takes a little time to get the vernacular back. Well, I don't know. Have a good day or something. Bye.